Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our SaVeg take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the SaVeg podcast.
Hey guys.
Guys.
How's it going?
I was going to be like, we going to be pissed off today.
Oh God.
I think Daniel's going through some PMS situations.
You know what? I think I'm going to try to stay calm and collected.
Okay, I won't.
Just to kind of, I want to get my point across. I want to try to be articulate, although it doesn't seem to fucking matter anymore.
Oh, God damn, Daniel, you are sassy today.
I am, but
first, let's do Patreon shout-outs, which always makes us happy.
It does,
by the way, you guys, if you want to join us on our Patreon, it is patreon.com/thesavagepodcast for bonus episodes every single month.
Yep.
This month, we're going to be answering or responding to hate comments.
Well, we're not going to call them hate comments. We're going to call them interesting comments that we've received either on our podcast channel on YouTube, or also maybe some random
Cheap Lazy Vegan.
See what some of the haters on the cheap
what
lazy,
the vegans want to say.
What the vegans, God damn. So that's
going to be our September exclusive.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to join us for that, make sure you join us on Patreon for, of course, ad-free episodes and episodes earlier than everybody else. And now we're going to get started with our shout-outs.
Our shout-outs. Who are we starting with, Rose?
Starting with Johnny or Joni.
Okay. Kayla.
Francesco.
Jelena.
And I think Jelena is correct. Yeah. And Chris. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Thank you guys for joining the fam.
The Patreon fam.
The Patreon fam.
And so it's as little as $3 a month, people.
Mm-hmm. So like less than your Starbucks coffee.
Starbucks be expensive as all hell.
I know, goddamn, it'd be getting pricey.
It'd be like $5 for an Americano.
I know, it's getting nuts. Getting crazy.
All right, shall we jump into whatever is pissing Daniel off?
Okay, well, guys. Okay, just a little.
We're gonna do another rant.
I know.
Okay.
It's like a trigger warning. All of these stories are linked together, and I'm sure you guys are sick about hearing about COVID. You're sick about probably hearing people talk about it. I feel like after this episode, we should try to avoid talking about it for a little while.
Okay, got it.
Because I think
we're a little tired.
Yeah, we're tired, and as you can tell, we're getting frustrated and angry with the situation. The first story that I want to bring up actually isn't a story per se, but it's about what's happened in Alberta.
Oh my God, is it about the bar?
Well, goddamn, what happened to the bar?
Okay, you tell the story first.
Oh, goddamn. Okay, so anyway.
Are you going to talk about the restrictions? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, I follow not quite a few, but I follow some local businesses here in Calgary, including the SaVeg Cafe.
Yeah.
Rose's little
my
cafe.
Vegan cafe.
Which is literally around the corner from my house. So it's dangerous. I'm always there getting, what do I order?
The bulgogi burrito. That's Daniel's favorite, in case you guys need to know.
Yeah. In case anyone ever wants to take me out for dinner, we'll go there and you can get me a bulgogi burrito.
Perfect.
Yeah, done. But basically for those of you that aren't in Alberta, in our province, our province decided to do a very strange kind of way around not officially calling something a vaccine passport, but having a vaccine passport.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, you know what? We're going to give the decision up to businesses. Businesses can choose, okay? So the businesses have one of two options. The first option is the business can choose to follow the restrictions, which basically means your business is practically closed. Let's be real here, guys. You wouldn't be able to have for example, for restaurants, they wouldn't be able to have in-person dining. There's mandates on capacity restrictions. So if you're a retailer or whatever, there's certain capacity you can have in your store. So there's it's very restrictive. So that's option one for businesses. Okay. Option two is to implement what our government is calling the restriction exemption program.
Yes.
Okay. And what this means is small businesses, well, not just small businesses, businesses in general, can choose to be part of this program. And what they have to do is if they want to do the in-person dining or have,
indoor dining.
Yeah. Indoor dining.
Yeah.
Not have restrictions and capacity, all this kind of stuff. They can, ask for proof of vaccine. So we're going to get a little vaccine card, or the Patreons or whoever's going to their establishment has to prove that they had a negative COVID test within the last, I believe it's 72 hours, 48 or 72 hours, from a private testing facility. So they would have to pay for these tests themselves and prove that they have a negative test. So when you look at the options here, guys, really, okay, if I owned my own business, okay, you have option A, which will practically drive your business to the ground and you will, probably have to close. Yeah. Or option B, your only other option to implement this restriction exemption program. So a lot of restaurants and stuff have been posting on their social media being like, hey guys, letting everyone know starting on the 20th, which was Monday, we're going to implement this program. Oh my God. Oh my God, guys. Like
the shitstorm.
Oh, the shitstorm is the understatement of the goddamn year. People have gone apeshit.
I know. People have gone absolutely insane. I'll let you rant, Daniel.
Oh, God. So basically, people are commenting on businesses. And keep in mind, guys, a lot of these businesses have been struggling throughout this pandemic, right? They're just trying to stay afloat in any way, shape, or form, following the rules set out to them by the government, right? So they're saying, okay, well, if this is the only way that I can have my business, I have to do this. So you have like regular people like commenting horrible things on these pages, just being like, this is disgusting, this is shameful, I'm not going to come to your establishment anymore, blah 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 blah, just horrible shit. And I'm just like, already these businesses are struggling, and now you're adding fuel to the fire to be like, just being horrible people basically in general, because businesses are following the guidelines. Like, what
are you supposed to do? Here's my question. What are we supposed to do? The thing, what I don't get is whether or not a business follows this exemptions program. Yeah. You're not going to be able to dine indoors if you're unvaccinated. Yeah. So why are you harassing businesses? Because either way, you're not going to be able to dine indoors. And I know what they're going to say. They're going to say it's segregation. Fuck off, you fuckers. I'm sorry. Okay, I am sorry, but you are not allowed to play the oppression card on this fucking topic. This is not segregation, you dumb fucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have had enough.
I know.
People are okay. Well, people are trying to like make this into a discriminatory thing. It's not. It's based on public health.
Yeah, exactly. People are saying, "Oh, this is similar to like the Holocaust."
Oh my God! Like honestly, I cannot believe people are making Holocaust comparisons, but also, you know what? Like everyone makes Holocaust comparisons now.
It seems like this is the like.
Isn't it a rule that like the first person to bring up the Holocaust loses the debate?
I feel like it should be.
That's what I heard, because like people just always bring this shit up.
I know. I remember like another example is like when we had the I always get them mixed up if it's pro-life or pro-choice.
Yeah. Pro-life is the people that are anti-abortion.
Okay, yeah. So those individuals were comparing like an abortion to the Holocaust. Like it was like, they're and again, going back to like what's happening right now, like what was going on in the Holocaust was I don't remember the term.
Bad analogy.
I know. Well, and also it was discriminatory against a specific ethnic minority.
And also, can we talk about the irony of the fact that in the Holocaust they actually killed people? Whereas right now we're actually saying vaccines save people.
That is the best. This is the best thing is like people are like, this is, do you want me to wear the Star of David?
Oh my God.
Blah,
somebody
blah, blah,
wrote
blah.
this on my cafe, by the way.
I know. And I'm like, guys, again, fantastic point. It's like, they're not killing people here. They're not saying, they're simply saying you need to get this vaccine for public health. And I'm going to like one of the stories that we're going to get into is like really like emphasizing this point. And so going back to like businesses and stuff in Calgary and in Alberta, it's like what choice they have. And these people, this is another frustrating thing. These people that are making these comments being like, oh, I'm not going to support your business, blah, 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 because they're choosing to, not follow or to follow the restriction exemption program. If they didn't follow that program, those same individuals, I can almost guarantee, I could put money on it, guys. Those same individuals would not be going deep in their pockets and propping those businesses up with the money that they need to survive. Exactly. So they can seriously like
fuck off.
Yeah. Like it's so frustrating. It's like,
I know.
It's like if you as an individual were given a choice where they're like, hey guys, like you as an individual person, option A, you can have $10 a month. That's it. Okay. Make it work. Or option B, you can keep getting whatever salary you're getting. Like, let's say it's a good salary or whatever. Or option B, which option are you going to take? You're going to take option fucking B. Because you're not going to take option A and then cry and go out of business. Like, it's so frustrating. And I just don't understand. Like,
I don't understand
how there's
like,
so many
how is there
people,
no
though.
logic? I honestly, I just don't fucking get it. Like, I actually like, it actually frustrates me so much because it's like, and every time I watch this shit, people are saying, oh, you can still get COVID even if you get vaccinated. Like, that's the argument still. That's the fucking argument. We've already gone through this argument a million fucking times. Yeah, we know you can still get COVID if you have the fucking vaccine.
Yeah. And this is the thing too, which is like frustrating. And I'm sorry, guys, we're dwelling on this again in
so
another
bad.
episode. This will be, you know what? I feel like we should make a
banned
pact.
from talking about this.
Yeah, for at least a couple episodes.
Unless there's like a big news story that, you know.
Unless there's something crazy that happens in the next couple of weeks, guys, we're going to try to avoid the COVID vaccine topic because it's just, it is infuriating.
But it's like, when is it going to be over because of these fucking...
I know. And like, it just... The more, like, basically, we're going to go through actually a couple stories about this. So I think we should just dive into the first one.
Well, let me tell you about the Alberta bar.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
So
the Alberta bar. What happened?
So it's related to what we just talked about. So basically, because... Okay, well, no, I do have a question, though. Do you know, like, what are other provinces doing? Do they just, like, they don't actually have the option, right?
Exactly.
So this is another fucking issue, right? It's like, the government is too, like, I don't want to say pussy. What's a better word for pussy?
Too timid?
Chicken? To like whatever, nervous to like mandate something like this themselves. So they're putting that choice to businesses so that the businesses get harassed. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, like, it's your choice to do it or not, but really the choice is not really a choice.
It's a non-choice.
Yeah. So then it makes your business still look like, to these crazy people. Yeah. I'm sorry I said it, but like that's an ableist term. What's a better term? Like
no,
these just unreasonable, irrational people.
I would say unreasonable. Yeah, for
people
sure.
are like, they think like, oh, the business is trying to discriminate. And it's like, first of all, again, you don't understand what discrimination is. Second of all, you know, like this isn't really a choice, right? Yeah. Especially for like bars and restaurants and stuff.
Of course, it literally, guys. It's not a choice. You have option A or option B.
You either close your business or you do the exemption program.
Exactly. Like, there's no choice.
Yeah. So then one of these bars in Alberta, you know, decided to do the exemption program, just like almost every other business. Yeah. Okay, that is sane. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless it's like a takeout only, you know, place, then it makes sense. But anyway. So this bar, I guess, got so much harassment and like death threats that they closed down.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because of this program. Yeah. I don't know what kind of redneck bar this was. Oh, god
damn. Like, it's crazy because like other provinces, like I know we were just in Montreal in Quebec. And
I do wonder how the response was there.
Yeah, me too. I don't know because like we're not as obviously in touch with that province. But like when we were there, for example, it's like everywhere you had to show a vaccine passport.
Yeah,
like,
and
that was just the way that
very
it was.
normal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just guys.
How do people not get that this is not about like discriminating? Like, this is literally about safety.
I know.
And like public health.
and again, comparing it to like discrimination that happens against like, you know, the Jews or other ethnic minorities, things like that. It's like those were actually like, that was actual discrimination.
Exactly.
This is just like, because this, I
know. And the thing is, at least, again, even if you are thinking that it's not actually, because I'm assuming that the people that are anti-vax are thinking that this is not as big of a deal as, you know, we think it is, right? Yeah. So you know what? I'll grant you that. Like, if you think that, at least give us the kind of like, how do I say, benefit of the doubt that we at least think this is a health issue. So you can't just say we're just discriminating when you know what I mean? Like, you know, we're obviously thinking that this is a health issue. Maybe you don't. Yeah. Maybe you don't think it's that serious. Yeah. But we think it's serious, and that's why we want to do this vaccine. So, like, you know, how can you say that we're discriminating? Like, what the fuck?
Well, it's just like it's like the thing that's frustrating again, and I know, I'm sorry guys, there's just so many arguments that keep happening around, and it's always I feel like it's a lot of the same argument.
It's the same bullshit, and people just don't listen.
Yeah, like there's two that like really stick out in my mind just recently, and then we'll get into the stories, I promise guys, and we'll talk about them. But one of them is they'll talk about like certain countries like Israel, Iceland was a recent one.
The Israel thing just continue.
Breathe, Rose, breathe. They'll talk
I have a rant about the Israel thing.
I know, they'll talk about these countries and they'll say, well, you know, look, all of these countries are getting like increased vaccinations and, they have like a high, vaccine rate per capita or whatever it is, yet they're still seeing a rise in COVID cases. And like, the thing that's so frustrating about this is like never at any point did people say that the vaccine, by having the vaccine, it meant that you wouldn't get COVID. Mm-hmm. Like that was never an argument to say.
Maybe in the very beginning we were like, oh, you probably won't get it, but then
you're less likely to get it.
Yeah, very soon after. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's always been you're less likely to get it. Yes. Does it mean you're not going to get it? No, that was never. Yes. They never said if you get the vaccine, you're never
guaranteed to never get COVID.
Exactly. That's number one. And secondly, the main argument around getting the vaccine is yes, you could get COVID. Your chances are lower, but you can still get it. But if you do get it, the chances of you needing to go to the hospital for severe symptoms is like slim to none, right?
Yeah.
And even in Israel, even in Iceland, even in all of these countries that are having increases in COVID cases because of the Delta variant and all this other, which is more contagious.
Delta variant, which happened because not that many people were vaccinated. So it mutated into a different variant, which makes the vaccine less effective, which is why there are more people getting COVID, even though they have the vaccine.
Exactly. But the point is, even though you're having these outbreaks in these countries, all the articles, like I've read so many articles about Israel, I just recently read a couple about Iceland because I was just like curious to see what's going on. And every single article is reinforcing. They say, yes, there's getting an increase in numbers. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're getting more COVID cases. However, proven between every single country that's implementing the vaccine program that actually the vaccine is effective in basically preventing people from having to go to the hospital with severe symptoms and dying. Like, and every country, the hospital numbers do not lie.
Yeah.
Like,
are you sure, Daniel? It's all part of the conspiracy.
It's part of the scam, guys. It's part of the scam that 80 to 90%.
The world is in on it.
Yeah, the whole fucking world is in on this huge, giant conspiracy to control all of our lives because, our lives are so interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to control us.
And you know what gets me? It's like these people will take this, like, these tiny little examples of countries. Like, for example, Israel is not a very big country. I think there's about 10 million people,
something
9
like
million
this.
people.
Yeah.
It's a small country. And then they're taking these tiny examples, which doesn't even like prove their point because of what you just said.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, oh, there's increasing cases. But then they'll just ignore all of the other examples of much bigger data points, like much bigger statistical, like points. Like, for example, Canada, US, UK, all those countries combined have significantly higher death rates among people that are unvaccinated.
Yeah.
They'll ignore all of that, but they'll only just cherry pick that one little piece of information that kind of suits their agenda.
Exactly.
And then that's the one they will believe. That's the one that's not a conspiracy.
Exactly.
That's the one that makes sense.
Exactly. And the thing that frustrates me is like, I would honestly, guys, like, I'm just being completely honest, I would buy into or go along with, again, if the statistics and the things were pointing in the direction, like, let's say in Canada, in the States where vaccine rates are quite high, if it wasn't making a difference, if, like, for example, in the hospital, it was unvaccinated, vaccinated equal, it didn't seem to matter, like, you know what I mean? Then I would start questioning.
Exactly.
And then I would be like, okay, what's going on here, guys? Like, but the fact of the matter is, like, the
numbers are there. Why are you ignoring these numbers? Like, this is what I don't get.
But it's all a conspiracy. The numbers are fake, Rose.
It's so fucking frustrating because it's like, this is never going to end if people like this continue to exist. Like, I'm sorry.
So I'm going to say something of a little bit, not like controversial. So I was speaking with somebody. I won't say who I was speaking with. It wasn't you, Rose.
I was like, do you talk to anyone but me? I'm just kidding.
I have other friends.
That makes me very sad.
I know. I was having a chat, and this is a little bit extreme, guys. And obviously, I'm not necessarily an advocate of this because this causes a different, and I think we've talked about this before, but this creates a plethora of different problems. But one of the issues that we have is obviously, like, especially in a country like Canada, where we do have public health care, the issue with so many people going to the hospital, which actually is going to link in with our first story, is the fact that the hospitals are getting overwhelmed. So, like, there's so many people going to the ICU. And the problem with COVID is, like, when you go to the ICU, it's not just for like a couple days, like they're there for weeks, right? On ventilators, holding up these beds, right? So that's another, like, kind of issue with this. And because, again, it's public health care, so, like, we don't have to pay for it. We can just go to a hospital, right? So,
but we pay for it with our taxes.
Exactly, with our taxes. So, like, the issue then being is, like, well, what this individual was saying to me is, like, saying, okay, you know what? You're right. People do have, like, obviously people have the choice if they want to get the vaccine or not.
Uh-huh.
However, if you're choosing not to get the vaccine, and obviously this is going to be very controversial. I'm sure people will light up the comment section. But if you choose not to get the vaccine, you have one of two options. You either waive your right to go to the hospital if you're
for COVID reasons.
So you waive that right, number one. Or number two, if you do go to hospital with COVID reasons, you gonna get the bill.
Oh shit!
So these were the options. Like I thought it was kind of interesting because, like, you know, and obviously it brings into like the plethora. There's a whole discussion around like diabetes and other health related issues.
We did have this discussion, and I was like, well, one of the arguments against that, which I thought was like, you know, maybe a valid argument, was that, you know, people make bad lifestyle choices all the time. And so
we still pay for that.
And we still pay for their healthcare. You know, for example, if somebody was drinking and driving, you know, and that's a very dangerous.
Or had a drug overdose.
Or even, you know, like was in a fight or whatever it was, they'll still go to the hospital and get treated.
Exactly.
So that was kind of like, okay, that makes sense. But at the same time, I think we were discussing this amongst our friends. Yeah. And my other friend basically said, well, but first of all, like with a lot of things, I mean, obviously not drinking and driving and stuff, but like with a lot of things like diabetes, it's a little bit more of a complicated kind of, complex issue. Whereas COVID is quite like, you know, specific. Yeah. But at the same time, what she was saying was, with other things, it's like you're not overwhelming the healthcare system, right? So that's currently our issue, right? It's not like there's, you know, one COVID patient here, one COVID patient there. It's like right now, because there are lots of people not getting the vaccine. Yeah. It's overwhelming our healthcare system. Why are we back at this discussion? We were discussing this in the beginning of the motherfucking pandemic.
I know. Well, you know, it's kind of funny too. Another comment, guys, and then I promise we're going to get into our first story. We like keep going on about this.
No one's listening at this point.
I know. They're like, oh God.
They'd be getting pissed off.
I know. Another argument that I saw on, you know, again on Instagram, on social media and stuff, is somebody had commented again on this, like someone had done the restriction exemption. I'm pretty sure it was restriction exemption. And then somebody was like, this is fantastic, you know, this is awesome, like blah, blah, blah. And then someone else commented, you know, read into the propaganda. How can, you know, approximately 30% of people in Alberta are unvaccinated. How can 30% of people overwhelm the hospitals? And I was thinking, okay.
This is the intelligence here.
Exactly. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh my God, like this is literally, guys, this is what we're up against at the moment, because like, how many hospital beds do you think we have? Like in our city alone, we have over 1 million people. So with that logic, we would have a minimum of 300,000 hospital beds. Ain't no city got 300,000 hospital beds.
And apparently
I can tell you
enough
that.
Nurses and doctors to care for these people.
Exactly. It's like it's honestly this is what we're up against. Again, I'm all for arguments. I'm all for differing opinions, but bring me some substance. Bring me an argument that's fucking valid, guys. Like don't pull these things and be like, "Oh, how can 30% of the population overwhelm the hospitals?" How do you think?
Oh God.
Honestly,
like a part of me wants to feel bad for these people because I'm like, are you just uneducated? Like what's going on?
I don't know.
But at the same time, it's like we've been in this for like almost 2 years now, like a year and a half, you know, the information is there. Yeah. Oh God, what the fuck is this?
So this is going to bring us to our first story. And this is part of the reason, guys, why, again.
Are you joking?
Nope. Again, this is
gonna make me so fucking mad.
I know. Rose, take a breath. We're gonna calm down.
Okay, Daniel, you're gonna have to read this because I'm already mad.
I know. Let's talk through it. But this is another reason why, you know, a lot of the time we're saying, or not a lot of the time, we're saying we don't live in isolation, right? We live in a society. Our choices do impact others, regardless if we're saying my body, my choice, I don't want to do this, blah 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 blah. But like our actions have consequences because we don't live in a fucking forest. So basically, this is a headline of, again, a really sad story, and this isn't an isolated case, guys.
This is so sad.
So basically, this story caught some media attention. A gentleman in Alabama, he died after being turned away from 43 different hospitals because they've been overwhelmed with COVID patients.
This is what we're fucking talking about. This is not a game, people.
Exactly. So basically what had happened is this gentleman, so the family of this Alabama man who he died of heart issues, is basically calling out people to get vaccinated after he was turned away from 43 hospitals in 3 different states while having a cardiac emergency because all of the intensive care units were at maximum capacity with COVID patients.
How does this not make people mad?
I know.
This is so disgusting.
Exactly. Like it's just, again, and I
And it says Alabama currently has the second highest COVID hospitalization average and fourth lowest vaccination rate in the country. Coincidence?
Exactly. And again, you know, and the stats don't lie.
But they do, Daniel, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently everything's a lie except for the Israel vaccination numbers.
Exactly. That's the only. Well, let's pick and choose. Let's pick and choose our stats. And again, guys,
I mean, this is so depressing and so sad. Like, if I were his family, I would be so livid. Like,
exactly. Because I mean, he would, you know, this could have been, potentially could have been prevented. I don't know what heart complications he had, but apparently in this gentleman's obituary, his family basically pleaded for people to get the vaccine because of the situation. They said, in honor of Ray, please get vaccinated if you have not, in an effort to free up resources for non-COVID related emergencies.
Yeah.
He would not have want any other family to have to go through what he did, basically.
That's so sad. 43 hospitals.
Yeah.
43, you guys. 43 hospitals.
But this is what, and maybe this is a little bit selfish of me, but I'm going to be a little bit selfish. This is why I'm actually personally scared a little bit right now, because what happens if, like, you know, for example, accidents happen, right?
Yeah.
If I walk out of my house and I get hit by a car or something happens to me, well, even in Alberta, we know the hospitals are starting to get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And like, if something happens to me, they need to take me to ICU.
Yeah.
Guess what? The beds are all fucking full.
Yeah.
Where are they going to put me? You know what I mean? So it's putting other people at risk that wouldn't necessarily be at risk because of a conscious choice that these people are making.
Oh my God, honestly, I just...
And it is really sad. It's like...
What gets me? Mm-hmm. What really gets me is
what tell us, Rose?
In the beginning of the pandemic, right? The argument, like the biggest kind of like what made us mad at that in the beginning of the pandemic was people that were against lockdowns and anti-mask, right? People and then now it's converted. Those same people are now anti-vaccine. Pick a lane, people. You can't have it all like both ways. Like, you can't expect a pandemic to just go away by just not having any vaccine and then everyone just free for all. We're just out there like fucking no mask. Like, do you not understand that there is a history of pandemics that have wiped out millions of people?
Yeah.
Like, how can you be this stupid? Like, either be against lockdowns, but like for vaccines so that at least when people get vaccines, people can be free.
Yeah.
Or like be against lockdowns, but like for masks, for example. Like, you can't have it all of those ways because then you're just asking for everyone to like die or be like the hospitals be fucking overwhelmed.
Exactly. Well, I just, again, we're pleading and we're speaking with people that are not being rational, right? Like,
but I think we're being a little bit harsh.
Yeah, I think maybe
because
we are
we're so mad.
Yeah.
But like, well, at this point, I just feel like so many of these people are just they're too far gone. Like, I don't know if they're even going to listen to any of this.
Exactly. Like,
but it's just come back to earth just a little bit, you guys. Like,
yeah.
I know that most people that listen to us is like, you know, they agree with us.
They
I'm
get
sure.
it. Yeah.
And at this point, if they don't agree with us, they've stopped listening to us.
Well,
a
exactly.
While ago.
We've ranted too many times.
But like, it's just like, and like, how many people have like, you know, been anti-vax and then like died from COVID? Like, we talked about this a few weeks ago.
So many people, and you know, even there was like some very, you know, public figures that were, you know, conservative anti-vaxxers in the US that got COVID and actually pled with their audiences after and said, look, guys, this is real. You need to get vaccinated. Like, and still, I don't know where we're going to get to with this. Honestly, guys.
I know. It actually frightens me. And I think the reaction to the restriction exemption program actually like kind of frightened me a little bit.
It was a slap in the face.
Yeah.
It was actually really scary, guys.
It was really like shocking to see how many people were actually thinking like this.
Well, and not only just thinking like that, but so aggressively vocal and just being like, you know, and it's funny because a lot of the people, I feel like a lot of the people that were commenting, you know, half of them probably didn't even go to those establishments to begin with. They're just, you know, again,
they're
keyboard warriors.
Commenting.
Yeah. And, you know, again, they wouldn't be the people like if I had my business and I didn't follow the vaccine exemption program, I bet you I wouldn't be able to message those people and say, hey, can each of you guys give me a couple $100 a month because I need to keep my business afloat? Yeah. And they would say, fuck you.
Yeah. And then when there were lockdowns, these were the same people that were like, businesses are suffering. Why are you locked down? You know, like, whoa, the businesses are so suffering. Oh my gosh. I care so much about mental health and businesses now. Not that I've ever talked about these things before.
Exactly. You have like, again, pick a lane, guys. You know, maybe we'll have a little bit more respect for you that way if you actually did. And yeah, I know there are.
I don't like the harassment, and I swear to God, if anyone tries to fucking harass my business.
Yeah, and I do know, obviously we are being a bit harsh. I know that there are some people, you know, that aren't getting vaccinated for, you know, a variety of different reasons. I don't think it's the majority of people. I could be wrong, but there are some people that maybe have like, you know, complicated medications that they're on and they're worried about maybe some
in that case, there is a medical exemption document that you can show businesses and you can dine indoors.
Exactly.
But people don't want to do that.
Exactly. So because again, I'm kind of going out on a limb here, guys, but I think a lot of the people that are so vocal about this and everything else, they don't have, you know, reasons to not get the vaccine.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, I don't want to like paint everybody with that brush because I know we're being a little bit too.
I'm sure there's people that don't get the vaccine or that didn't get the vaccine that understand like this issue and they get it.
Yeah.
And they'll, you know, still get takeout, for example. Like you're still allowed to get takeout.
Exactly.
Like, if you're unvaccinated and you don't want to get the vaccine, you could still get takeout. It's not like eating out, like we said, eating at a restaurant is not a right, people. It's a privilege. And if you're a public health risk, I'm sorry, you can't like participate in this fucking privilege.
Exactly. And you have to remove yourself. And I think this is the key thing for me where I think people are like getting disconnected from this, but you have to remove yourself from like the individual, right? Like we are not living again in isolation. Like we are in a society where, you know, our actions do have impacts and consequences. So like, you know, you might not want to get vaccinated and you might be very against it, but at the same time, by you not doing that, then you could potentially, you put yourself again, higher at risk. I'm not saying you're necessarily going to go to the hospital because, you know, not all unvaccinated people are going to the hospital, but you're putting yourself at a higher risk, which is then again, impacting the hospitals, which, you know, it has these knock-on effects. And unfortunately, like we just can't operate like that. You know, everybody can't just be super individualistic because we are living in society. So
exactly, especially during a pandemic, which is caused by a contagious virus.
Exactly.
Like,
so
when you have a contagious virus, guys, when you sit next to somebody, okay, you could be getting it or giving it. Okay. It's not rocket science, people.
Yeah.
What happened with Nicki Minaj?
Did you hear about Nicki Minaj?
No.
Oh God. Okay, guys. Again, I'm sorry. There's just so much COVID shit going on right now.
Continue.
We will not talk about it next episode. Okay?
We are not allowed.
We're not allowed. We're
banned. We're banned from talking about this.
So I'm not sure if you guys had seen this or if people had seen this, but I guess Nicki Minaj, I think it was a couple of weeks ago actually, or a week or so ago, she did a really famous tweet. And obviously she's very like hugely followed, right? Like, you know, and her tweet.
Was it good or bad?
It was bad.
Oh God.
So I'm going to read you the tweet right word for word. Okay.
What did she say?
So she said,
read me. Okay. Word for word.
Word for word. I was going to be like, I'm Nicki. Like, I don't know.
No, you can't do that.
No.
People are going to get offended.
Exactly. That's true. Okay. So basically she says, my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. Oh my God. Impotent. Thank you. His testicles became swollen.
What the?
His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called off the wedding. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied.
Wait, is this a joke?
No. So the part of the reason why this caused so much headlines is like actually health officials have had to come, obviously because she's such a big figure. So many health officials have had to come forward and be like, hey, like there's no substance to this claim.
Yeah.
Even so, as you know, like Nicki Minaj, she's actually from, I believe she's from, is she from Trinidad?
I have no idea.
Anyway, she's, I don't know actually.
Don't know anything about Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, I don't know too much about her either. But anyway, her cousin that was in Trinidad, even in Trinidad, like the public officials had to come forward
and say what?
And be like, guys, there has literally been no cases. Like no one has come forward.
Oh, so she's just making this shit up.
Well, she says a friend of a friend of a friend, you know?
Oh my God.
And she basically,
it happened to a friend of mine.
Exactly. And they were like, guys, like nobody's come forward. There's been no known cases of people having any kind of issues.
And
like,
that is
similar to
literally the definition of an anecdote. Okay. How do people not understand this? Listen, there's anecdotes and then there's actual data.
Yeah. And again, guys, and this is going to sound really bad. Well, not really bad, but like, again, we have to stop thinking at an individualistic level.
Yes.
In a sense, you have to look at the big picture. And like, yes, don't get me wrong. There has been some people that have had some complications with the vaccine, right?
And that happens with every single medication or vaccine.
Exactly. But you have to look at the two sides of the coin, right? So you have the vaccine, which maybe, I don't know what the stat is. Maybe there's like a couple people, like 2% or something, or not even 2%, but like a certain percentage that have adverse reaction.
Very small percentage.
Exactly. Versus the number of people that are contracting COVID, going to ICU, dying.
Yeah.
And you have to weigh out the options. Which one is the overall for society in general? What is the better option, and what's, going to save more lives? It's like that whole argument. It's like you have like, two things that you can do. One is a bus of like people going to go here, or you have an airplane and you can only save one. There's more people on the airplane, so you save the airplane or whatever. That's just a stupid analogy, but you get the point, right?
But statistically, I saw this TikTok, which I can play because this girl like laid it out really well.
Yeah.
But basically the idea is that like again, yes, we're not saying that there's no risk to this vaccine.
Of course.
Just like literally us just sitting here, like being alive, there's a risk of dying.
There's a risk of everything.
We could just fall dead tomorrow. So no matter what, there's going to be a risk. Okay. You could eat like an almond and then die tomorrow. You know what I mean? So does that mean we should ban, almonds? So like, there is a very, very, very low chance of adverse effects, especially like really dangerous adverse effects to this vaccine so far. Yeah. Okay, compared to the number of people that have died from actual COVID. Yeah. So let me play this one because I thought she laid it out really well.
Okay, let's hear it, Rose.
Fucking tired of this argument because yes, you can still get COVID if you are fully vaccinated, but do you know the statistics to that? Do you know the odds of getting COVID if you are fully vaccinated? Because I do. I'm not a medical expert, but I'm really fucking good at numbers. So let me show you. There are 330 million people in the United States, right? Divide that by the 41 million COVID cases that we've had, and that gives you a 1 in 8 chance of catching COVID in the United States. 1 in 8 people have gotten COVID in the United States. Of those 41 million people, you have had 670,000 or so deaths, right? That's a 1 in 61. 1 in 61 people in the United States have died from COVID.
Holy shit.
1 in 61
That's
people who have gotten COVID in the United States have died, okay? Let's take this further.
She's just as mad as we are.
There are 173 million people who are fully vaccinated in the United States, right? Do you know how many breakthrough cases there have been? As of August 30th, there's been 12,908. That gives you a 1 in 13,402 chances of catching COVID if you are fully vaccinated. 1 in 13,402 versus 1 in 8. Let's take it a step further. There have been 2,437 deaths related to COVID, or people who are COVID positive and fully vaccinated, right? 480 of those aren't related to COVID, which means that they died from a car accident or something totally unrelated to COVID. So we're going to round that to 2,000. 173 million people in the United States are fully vaccinated. Divide that by the 2,000 that have died fully vaccinated from COVID. That gives you a 1 in 86,500 chances of getting COVID and dying if you are fully vaccinated. So unvaccinated, you have a 1 in 8 chance of catching COVID. You have a 1 in 61 chance of dying from COVID. And fully vaccinated, you have a 1 in 13,402 chances of catching COVID and a 1 in 86,500 chances of dying from COVID. How about we all just realize that billions of shots have been given worldwide, billions of people have been fully vaccinated, and we have a way to end this pandemic. We have a way for children to stop losing their fucking parents. Go get the fucking shot.
Oh God. Do you think maybe her parent died?
Yeah, it could be.
God.
But I mean,
okay, so that doesn't talk about the adverse things, but like, again, it's very similar where it's like literally like 2 people got a blood clot and everyone's like, oh my God. Exactly. Whereas like compared to the what do you call it? The birth control pill, remember? Like it's like apparently like the numbers of or the chances of getting blood clots are so much higher on the birth control pill. Yeah. Nobody's fucking talking about the birth control pill.
But again, we're talking about people, what they're doing is they're like picking and choosing stats, right? Like they're picking or they're taking these isolated cases, and again,
they're taking what they already believe to be the truth and then just working backwards from that.
You know who that reminds me of?
Candace Owens.
No, but you know what else that reminds me of? One of my favorite documentaries I ever watched on Netflix about flat earthers.
Yes!
Taking something that you believe to be true and then literally taking a narrative that just like isolates.
You know what really gets me? It's like back in the day, before COVID times, okay? The anti-vax community existed, okay? Yeah. But they were very small, right? It was like a very fringe group of people.
Were they though?
I think so. Yeah. It was like a very small group of people. And usually a lot of people like, would make fun of them. It's kind of like, the flat earthers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry if you're a flat earther.
I'm sorry, guys. But like, I almost would prefer someone to be a flat earther. At least that doesn't hurt anybody.
It's harmless.
Yeah. So anyways, and then COVID happened and all of a sudden, like like how, like there's so many anti-vaxxers. Like what the fuck is going on?
Well, it's because people have equated the idea of getting a vaccine as like basically they've made this analogy of again aligning it and saying, hey, there's like the Holocaust. They're trying to take away our rights.
Right.
They're trying to they're attacking our rights as individuals. This is what our countries are doing. And that's why, instead of like looking at it, like, I think you're right. I think there might have been a smaller fringe group about vaccines, but as soon as this whole pandemic has started, people have almost like taken the idea of getting a vaccine as like taking away rights from you as an individual.
Yeah. Like you're losing a freedom.
Yeah. So you can't, unless you have to, I don't know. It's anyway. And that girl makes that lady, she makes a really good analogy and point looking just specifically at numbers.
Just the numbers.
Like people, like, feel free, and this is a point to Nicki Minaj. You know how she made that tweet about her, friend of a friend.
And also, like, don't listen to these like artists. Listen to the scientists.
This is what I mean.
Doctors.
I didn't realize there was so many scientists and doctors doing independent studies all over the world. Just saying friend of a friend of a friend contracted this and did this.
I didn't realize being a musician meant something all about COVID.
But this is it. Like, and do your own research. Like not like, well,
they love saying that though.
I know, like
do your research.
Do your research. But it's like, look at the numbers. Like the numbers literally don't lie. Like that girl was saying, like, okay, this many people have been vaccinated in the US. This many people have gotten COVID that have been vaccinated.
Yeah.
And this many people have died that had double vax and died from COVID.
Yeah.
And when you look at those numbers, like they just don't lie.
It just doesn't lie. It just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's more shocking. The numbers are more extreme than I even thought. You know what I mean? And it's what is this?
God damn this.
Oh shit.
Did you hear about this story?
Yes. Oh my God. Let's talk about this. Oh, you know what though? I think I know where this article is going to go. And I also kind of agree.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about Gabby. So we're going to step away from the vaccine.
Yeah. So that was our little COVID discussion, our COVID rant that was like 40 minutes.
You know what? We can't promise anything because maybe next week something crazy is going to happen.
This is true.
But we will really try not to rant about the vaccine next week or COVID.
It's going to be our little promise to you guys. Again, we don't know. We will try. We don't know if you're getting as frustrated as us, but maybe you are.
Yeah. Maybe you wanted to hear us being frustrated. Who knows?
It's like if again,
we're going to continue.
This is a bad analogy.
We're not done yet.
No, but like let's say you're teaching math class, and 1 + 1 it equals 2.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, there's some kids in the class that are adamant that it equals 3. And no matter what you tell them, no matter what you show them, no matter how many objects and things, they're still like, no, it's 3.
I know.
It's 3. You're trying to control my mind.
Oh God. Okay. One last thing.
Okay.
So I saw this thing on Twitter and it seriously made my blood boil because it was just so wrong. And I'm not like a scientist or, I'm not very good at reading charts, but it was just so obviously like misleading. So basically it was like this photo of like, some like shitty looking chart that somebody made.
Yeah.
And it was like, again, talking about Israel, of course, it's everyone's favorite topic. Anyways, so it was like, it was like, out of the severe cases, like the number of people dying from COVID that are unvaccinated is higher than number of people that are dying. No, number of people that are dying from COVID that are vaccinated is higher than number of people that are dying from unvaccinated.
Okay.
They were saying percentage.
Oh,
okay?
percentage. Yeah.
So they were saying that out of the severe cases, the percentage of people that were dying from COVID that were vaccinated was somehow higher.
Yeah. But then you have to look at the whole population.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, and then people were like fucking tweeting the shit, retweeting the shit. I was like, guys, like, look, okay. It is so obviously misleading. Yeah. They are obviously leaving out very crucial information. Because, for example, it's okay. Like, let's just lay it out.
Yeah.
Out of severe cases, they said, first of all. So I need to know, first of all, how many unvaccinated people are there out of the severe cases? Is it 20? Is it 100? Is it 2,000? We don't know.
Yeah.
So if we don't know that information, it could literally be like 3,000 people that were unvaccinated, 100 people that were vaccinated. And out of those 100 people, it's like 30% of those people are severe cases.
Yeah.
And then that's 30 people. And then out of that number, then if it's 20% of people dying, then it's only 20% of 30.
Yeah.
So you can't like, and I was shocked that like there's so many people retweeting this shit. I was like, it's so obviously misleading.
Like here's a perfect example, and it's gonna sound like let's say we're talking about I'm trying to think of an example, but it's like saying, like if you looked at, like, let's say we took South Korea, for example. Like we looked at South Korea and we looked at Alberta, and we would say, oh my God. And again, taking this completely out of context, there's way more Koreans in the hospital in South Korea than in Calgary or in Alberta.
Yes.
It's like, well, no shit. Do you know what I mean? Because like there's a bigger population to pull from. So taking these stats out of context,
and not giving the full information. That's when you know that there is an agenda.
Of course.
There was definitely agenda. Whoever made that fucking chart knew exactly what they were doing, because they left out very crucial information.
Yeah.
How many people were unvaccinated?
Yeah.
How many of those unvaccinated people were actually severe cases?
Yeah.
It could have been 4.
Yeah.
It could have been 4 and one person died, and that's 25%.
Exactly.
Like, fuck off. We all know that you're fucking lying.
I know.
Okay? Anyway, okay, guys, we're done. Let's talk about this. Oh my God. So this case, you guys.
Yeah. I don't know too much about what happened.
Oh, I just heard about this. I was kind of like watching this stuff today. Yeah. So basically, we're going to talk about Gabby Petito.
Yeah.
I think she was 22. She's a very young woman. And unfortunately, it was a very sad situation where her and her fiance were doing some kind of road trip, or they were like living the van life, the van life.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of like, driving around the country in the US and traveling. And then all of a sudden, I think a few weeks ago, she just kind of went missing.
Yeah.
And then he came home or something. I can't remember the exact timeline, everything what happened.
Yeah.
But he ended up coming home to like his home without Gabby.
Yeah.
And he lawyered up right away, which a lot of people found very suspicious. Now, of course, lawyering up doesn't necessarily mean that you're guilty.
Yeah.
But in this circumstance, when, you were traveling with this person, and then this person disappears, and then all of a sudden you lawyer up when you're not even a suspect or anything,
Well, it already looks shady. Like, I'm sorry.
Very shady.
Even
really
if he
does.
hadn't lawyered up, like if I went on a van trip with you, just me and you, we go on a road trip. I come back without you,
and then you're not concerned about where I am.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, Rose is missing.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm the only last person that saw you already. It's like,
exactly. So it's already looking very suspicious.
Yeah.
And then I think he actually ended up going missing, and I think he's still missing.
He went and hid, apparently.
Yeah, he went to hide. So first he lawyered up, and then he like
ran and disappeared into like the bush.
He went into hiding or something.
Yeah.
And so I guess then there was like this huge nationwide like search for this woman.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think it was today or yesterday where they found her remains, or what they think are her remains.
Yeah, they're doing a test now, guys, to find out if it is Gabby. They think it is, but there's not like confirmation, so we don't know for sure.
Right.
The whole outcome of what's going to happen with that case. I mean, generally, like the general rule, I think they say, which is really sad. They like if someone's been missing, I think for more than 48 hours, the chances of every day after that, the chance of them appearing alive.
It like lowers like significantly. Yeah,
so
it's really sad.
It is. And this, this whole story about Gabby Petito, it's such a sad story, but I think it really highlights, and this was really, really important. It highlights this thing, which I think I've never heard this term before, but
I mean, I've never heard this term, but I was thinking it too, though.
Yeah.
Because I realized like it was such a big story.
It was huge.
That's how I found out about it, because her face was everywhere.
Exactly. And it provoked a nationwide search for her. Like everyone was going crazy.
Everyone.
And we've seen this before with other cases, like of people going missing.
Yeah.
And this will bring to the story is there was a news reporter or a TV host, called Joy Reid. And she actually coined this, and she said, obviously what happened to Gabby is really, really sad.
Yeah.
But again, it highlights an issue with our society in general.
Yeah.
That we focus so much attention on white individuals. Yeah. Especially white women. Yeah. That go missing.
Like pretty young white women.
Exactly. And she coined this term called missing white woman syndrome.
Yeah. I think this is like a very like good example of that, and I don't want to like dismiss obviously the sadness and tragedy of this story, but it is so true that like as I was like seeing the interest, the amount of like media coverage of this story, I was just thinking like, wow, like this one story got so much media coverage. I wonder how many like people of color go missing every single day, and I don't want to play that like, oh, what about the thousands of people, I don't want to play that, but at the same time, like, I think it is important to kind of like take a step back and be like, okay, why do we obsess over this?
Exactly. And it's like, if you look at all of the stories that really like end up captivating nations, and we hear about them, like these huge cases. Another really good example was Lacey Peterson back in the day. Natalie Holloway was another one. Again, these are huge cases of white women going missing, and those are the ones that seem to get white attractive women.
Yeah.
that captivate a nation. And it does come to play. It's like, well, you know, again, the sad thing is there's hundreds, like there's thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but I think there's thousands of people that go missing in the US and I think probably in Canada as well every single year.
Yeah. Whether they be, you know,
all races, right?
Yeah.
But the stories that seem to get really huge like this, it's always the same. Like, when has there been a story like this that I've ever heard of? Like, that's been like, you know, a person of color or an ethnic minority.
I'm trying to think of like some kind of really, really famous case.
Yeah.
Where it was the victim was like a minority.
Yeah.
And I actually can't think of one.
Yeah. Like, I can think of a few, but they were Netflix documentaries. So I don't know if that's the same. Like, it
like
wasn't.
What are some names that you can think of?
Like, I was thinking of, oh my God, why can't I remember the name of the story? It's it was a story about the little boy.
The little boy, Gabriel Fernandez or something.
Yes, Gabriel
Fernandez, something like that.
Yeah, and he was Hispanic.
Yeah, but that was definitely just because of the Netflix documentary.
Exactly. So, but again, it wasn't like all the stories that I think of when it was like really, really big
like
stories,
huge, like media frenzy.
Yeah,
it's always.
Even when you look international.
Yeah.
Like in the UK, like there was a story about. What was that girl's name? Madeline McCain or something.
Oh,
that went
that
missing.
was huge.
That was huge.
Huge. Was that the UK?
Yeah. Well, they were traveling in
They
Portugal.
were in Spain. Oh, Portugal.
Yeah, and she went missing.
And then there was all that beauty pageant girl in the States as well. What was the name? Not Madeline McCain, but it was like very similar type of story.
I honestly can't remember.
Oh God. Anyways.
Which is not good. But anyway. But it's always
a white girl.
Yeah.
Always a white girl. And that is like but I do wonder, is it the media or is it the people?
Yeah,
is the media giving the people what they want because they know that if it's a cute white girl, it's going to get more attention.
Yeah.
So maybe it is the people's that is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because they know that if it's like some, I don't know, person of color, they're like, oh, no one's going to pay any attention to this, which is kind of fucked up.
It's very fucked up.
Like, again, I'm still trying to think of like an example of like I don't know.
If you guys can think of any.
Like the only times I can think of where, you know, like people of color were in the story is when it was like when it was kind of like a racial situation, like Trayvon Martin or George Floyd, like, you know, like a kind of like racially motivated accident not accident, like accident, you know, targeted attack.
Yeah.
So those are the only stories I can think of, but someone just kind of going missing and
then
that
prompting
becoming
a nationwide search.
Yeah.
People creating these huge search parties of hundreds of people, like scouring the woods and doing all this stuff. Like, I can't think of one.
I wonder why it is that we are so, as a society, just so fixated on the white woman. The white woman. Because I mean, even if we think about Canada, right? Like one of the big things that people talk about is Aboriginal women going missing all the time. Apparently it happens like so much. Yeah. Which is so fucking like sad.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but like nobody talks about that. Yeah. Like, when's the last Aboriginal woman that we saw in the news? Like, what name?
Where they like started a search party.
I can't think of one name.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's fucking sad.
It is.
And then this person goes missing. And again, I don't want to downplay this, but you know, it is really just sad that, like, you know, unless you are attractive, that's probably another thing, you know, like Madeline McCain, you know, she was a cute little girl, you know, what was the name of the other girl? Like, beauty pageant queen, like, you know what I'm talking about? She got anyway. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. I just can't remember the name of the girl, but
again, it points to this idea of,
and then we know the names like years later. That's another thing, right?
Like Lacey Peterson was like a very famous case.
But you know what? It also happens when the perpetrator is also like a pretty white woman. Hey, like Casey Anthony. Remember Casey Anthony?
I don't remember her.
She's like the one that got like that. Oh my God, it was like a huge story, Daniel. It was like I can't remember what year. It was like a few years ago. It wasn't that too long ago. But she basically, her daughter like went missing. Okay. And then she was like this young woman. Casey Anthony was like this young woman. I think it was Casey Anthony. That's her name. And she basically, like, this story was like gigantic, and she ended up getting like not guilty, even though everyone was saying that she was guilty. So maybe that's another, you know, white woman syndrome where, you know, she got kind of let go because she was white and pretty. Yeah. Who knows, right? Like, I always try to envision, like, if she was like a, I don't know, black man, like, would she have, and given the same evidence, would she have gotten, you know, not guilty?
Well,
Doubtful.
we saw that that show that they had on Netflix.
Which one?
Do you remember when they like showed people pictures of criminals?
Yes,
and
but that was a bit different. Oh no. Oh, attractiveness.
Exactly, because they were saying like, I mean,
let's explain what that was in case people.
Yeah, in case you haven't seen it, guys, there's like a documentary. It's not even the.
It was like some like really.
It was cheesy. It was really
a cheesy show.
But basically, one of the things that they did, which was quite interesting, is they had like 100 people in a room, and they would show, and they did 2 separate studies, and they would show people different pictures of criminals, like people that have been convicted of crimes, and then they would tell them what the crime was, and then they would ask them like, what would you give as a sentence? Like, what would be your your sentence for these individuals? And interestingly enough, and again, I think it's it's not a robust enough study, but it did. I feel like it could be extrapolated. Just
for sure,
because we have biases and stuff, but every single time the person that was like deemed to be more attractive, they got a lesser sentence,
much lesser, like it severely, was like significant.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
But then I do wonder also when it comes to like race with that. Like I want them to do another type of. I'm sure there are studies like that. Yeah. I'm sure there are, like, which is why like racial profiling is a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the story is very sad. I mean, because one of the things that happened with. That's the thing. I know everything about this story. Like, what the fuck, right?
I know.
Basically, this girl and her fiance, they were traveling, and then one thing that happened was, I guess one time they parked their van, and I guess they were like fighting. Okay, yeah. And this car drove by and saw them fighting, and I guess he saw the guy hitting Gabby. Okay.
Okay.
And so he actually called 911, and he like. This guy was like a fucking hero. He like wrote down the license plate. Like he had the full description of the van, like where it was. And he was like, I saw a guy like punching this girl, like blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So then police officers actually showed up, and then they like talked, and then they were all like, talking to them. And I don't know, it was like a whole thing. So clearly there was some sort of, and again, I think apparently, according to the body cam footage, apparently like she was also hitting him. So I think they just had a very toxic relationship, and who knows what happened, right, at this point. But that's another reason why a lot of people are suspecting the fiance. But anyway, yeah.
Well, and you know what, guys, like let's just again extrapolate statistics.
Yeah.
And like almost every single time that somebody gets like, somebody gets attacked or something happens.
Oh God, it's a spouse.
Well, it's not just somebody a spouse, it's somebody they knew. Yeah. Right. Like that's like, which is kind of scary because I always had a fear of like when I was younger, like somebody just like breaking into my house and randomly killing me. But
God, what a dark fear. I mean, we all have this fear.
Yeah, but the chances literally of a random person actually attacking you is so low because like basically almost all like murder cases, or other than serial killers, that's like a different thing altogether. But like majority of murders, or like it's either foul play, something people got into a physical alteration, accidentally like punched somebody and they like fell into something, right?
Oh, God.
Or there it was a crime of passion. It was somebody they knew, like a friend of the family, a family member, a spouse,
God,
a lover.
That's so scary.
I know, which is crazy because those are the people that you trust.
You're supposed to trust.
Yeah, especially like your partner. Like I just couldn't imagine like your last like situation of your partner like killing you.
Imagine that though. Like that's what I always, because like the true crime shit, I listen to the shit, and you're right. It's like literally almost always somebody they know.
Yeah.
Like it's very, again, unless they're like a serial killer or just like really messed up, they just want to kill people.
Yeah.
Those are the only instances where somebody is gonna just kill random people.
Yeah. And even them, they have like specific things they look for.
Exactly. And then otherwise, it's like you're like fucking family members or like your spouse. It's very often the spouse.
I know. This is what's so scary.
And then I saw some comments like under like again when I was like watching videos about this case.
Are you cold, Rose? And
I'm a little cold, but it's okay. I'm a little cozy in here. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I saw some comments, and then one of the comments was like, guys, stay single and get a dog.
Well, it's true. Dogs aren't,
seriously.
they'll love you unconditionally.
Dogs will love you no matter what.
Yeah, this shit does make me a little bit scared. Like, not again. I don't want people to like think like I think again, look at stats. Like your chance of your spouse killing you are probably low.
Yeah. That's another thing, guys. Okay, don't think that like your
spouse is gonna kill you. Yeah. But like the thing is, okay, so that chance is really low that your spouse is gonna kill you. But then if you do get killed, the chance of that it was your spouse is very high.
Yes, the chances of you getting killed is very, very low.
Yeah.
But if you do get killed, it's probably your spouse.
Yeah. Oh God damn.
No, but Oh God.
It's so dark.
God, that is dark as fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that is fucking dark. But you know what? Here's another thing to take out of this story, which is very unfortunate. If you're in a domestic like abusive relationship, like try to leave it. Like I know that sounds so much easier said than done, but like there's so many cases I hear about where it's like the warning signs were there, but it's like people just, you know, like I don't know, hormones, pheromones, you know.
It's such a complex issue.
It's such a complex issue, but this is so like it's just so important, you know?
Well, the whole Rose, we kind of open up a can of worms there.
Oh God,
because
it's so much easier said than done. I know.
Exactly, because the whole idea, like, and the whole concept around, not concept, but like domestic abuse is a very complex thing.
100%.
And you know, I do feel like, I mean, I would hope that I wouldn't get into a domestic abusive relationship.
Yeah.
But I feel like it almost is like it can almost happen to anyone.
Oh, for sure, it can definitely happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But hopefully, you know, there are some people out there that can, and again, I'm definitely not trying to victim blame all, for sure. But it's like I hear these cases and it's just so sad. Like some of these cases I hear, it's like all the warning signs were there. Like if your family and friends are telling you like, you know, you need to leave, like please try to listen to them.
Exactly. I think this is the number one important thing to remember. Like, and this is one thing I hope that I take away with me, like if I ever get into a relationship, is that, you know, ultimately, like, yes, you know, your spouse is an important part of your life, but like, don't neglect your friends and family. Like those are also really important pillars in your life as well, because a lot of the time when you hear about these abuse cases, part of the cycle and everything else, and again, I'm not saying this is at all like the for everyone, but part of the cycle is that person that's the abuser tries to isolate that person from their friends and family, right? So I think, you know, ultimately deep down inside, try to keep those bonds really strong. And I think that will help you. Like if you do start to find yourself in a weird cycle of that, it will be easier. If you have that,
because you have a support network.
Exactly. So again, these are very complex issues, guys. And you know, by no means am I trying to like say, oh, I know it all about this kind of stuff. Like, you know, I just think, you know, try to keep those, you know, because I think that, and actually you said a good point the other day, like a while ago, about how you saw some videos on YouTube about, you know, people that are in relationships that are actually really quite lonely because they have no friends and you know, whatever else. And I think, you know, that's something that's really important, is to try to maintain some of those contacts and connections that you have, because your friends and family are almost just as important.
I would say just as
important as your spouse. They're giving you all different things.
Sometimes more important.
Exactly. But you can't discredit those relationships, right? Like your spouse is never going to be your 100% all.
It shouldn't be like that. Even though society kind of makes it seem like that's the most important relationship in your life.
Exactly.
I would disagree. I think there's so many relationships that are important in your life. But yeah, holy shit. We've opened up a whole different.
Yeah, that's a different can of worms.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think about this? Is there any backlash from this TV host that said this white woman syndrome thing?
I mean, I'm sure there is backlash. I mean, knowing the society that we're in these days.
Oh God.
But I think overall, a lot of people are, rallying behind her as well.
Right.
I think there's a lot of people that have been like, sharing tons of pictures and of people of color and all kinds of ethnicities that have gone missing as well, and being like, none of these stories are getting attention. People pleading to like, try to get other cases like the same kind of media attention.
That's interesting. Well, yeah. I mean, I do want to know what came first, the chicken or the hen. Is it the media that just decided to run with these stories, or is it the people that decided to make these stories more popular?
Yeah. It's
so we also have to look at our own biases, guys. Like, are we more captivated by this story because, this is a pretty white girl, which, like maybe, and maybe that's wrong. And that is wrong.
That is wrong. Yeah.
But at the same time, like we need to understand our own biases if we want to like, realize like why this is the way it is.
Exactly.
Anyways, I mean, what a sad story. God, she's 22.
I know, that's what the sad thing is. Like 22.
That is so young. She has a lifetime
ahead of her.
And she wanted to be like a YouTuber. I think she was like YouTubing the trip, and like, I don't know. It's just so fucking sad. I don't know.
So we have one more story before we leave you. Yes.
What is the story?
It's kind of a.
Is it gonna make me say it?
No, it's not. It's kind of it's almost a non-story, but I just
love it. Let's do a non-story. Let's do a dumb. Is it dumb? Nikita Dragun. Okay, it's dumb. Okay, let's do it. Oh. Okay.
So basically, this is the story, guys. A content creator, a very visible, like hugely trans advocate, and is trans herself, is Nikita Dragun.
But what do you like to call her, Daniel?
Nikita Dragun. Because of the way she spells her last name. It looks like, am I not right?
You are right.
Dragun?
But you're the only person that says that.
I know.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah. But anyway, so Nikita Dragun, you know, obviously if you don't follow her or you don't know who she is, she's like a huge like social media influencer, has a makeup brand, tons of stuff, and you know is very vocal about in the trans community.
She's quite controversial, I think.
Yeah, she is. She's very controversial. She says a lot of like, you know, controversial things. So basically she's released this like music video, I guess. I kind of it's not really a music video. I watched it, guys.
You're like a fan.
I
you like Nikita Dragun.
No, the thing is, she does these. She calls them pussy stunting videos.
What?
Where she like flaunts and like, you know, does a walk or whatever. I was kind of like, like she looks, you know.
I mean, she looks fucking good.
Yeah, like, but she's obviously plastic.
Yeah, it's a little much.
She's
done a little too much work. I don't think she needed to. I mean, you know, like whatever you want to do is fine. But
exactly.
Anyways.
But she, So I do follow her on. I follow her on Instagram.
She is hot. I will give you that.
Yeah, and I you know. Anyway, long story short, she did this music video where she like posted it, and in this music video, she like I guess outs a rapper called Tyga.
Okay, how does she out him?
Well, apparently he had slid into her DMs.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and she put screenshots in this video of him,
what?
His DMs, not just him,
like
but
real ones. How do we know it's real?
Exactly. I mean, this stuff can be photoshopped. We don't know for sure.
It's in a music video?
Yeah. And also she famously she had like hired this guy that was a model.
Oh, I've heard it. This is like a while ago, right?
Yeah, a long time ago. And apparently they became more than friends. They were like dating.
Sure.
But then there was that controversy. Like people are like, well, didn't you just hire him? Like, was this all just paid?
And then didn't he say that there was never anything going on?
He was like, there was nothing going on.
Sure.
There was, you know, what did he say? He's like, he likes women. He doesn't like trans women.
Right.
But then the argument is trans women are women, you know?
Yeah. So then is this outing him if trans women are women? That makes no sense.
Exactly. So, I mean,
and she looks like a woman.
Exactly. She looks like a woman. She like literally like.
So like, is this outing?
Exactly. But people have come back and been like, you know, she shouldn't have done that.
I mean, I don't think you should do that regardless, whether or not you're trans or not.
Exactly.
Unless the guy's being like really fucking like inappropriate or something.
If the guy's being a real dick about it and he's like, you know what I mean, then maybe. But at the end of the day, those are personal messages.
Yeah, like I still wouldn't unless he was being abusive or something.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's like when you see all these like YouTuber dramas and stuff like this. And
and they like go through the receipts.
I have the read receipts. And I'm like, that was a private conversation that you had with that person. Solve your drama offline. But of course,
Daniel, that you can't monetize that.
Exactly. You don't get the views, right? So like I have the read receipts, whatever. So I think she has come up with a lot of backlash. People being like, you know, you shouldn't have done that. Like regardless. And people.
Isn't he like Kylie Jenner's? Oh, maybe that's why it's called. No,
I don't know.
Who's Kylie Jenner dating, or who's her baby daddy?
Her baby daddy. I have
Isn't
no idea.
Isn't it Tyga? It looks like him. No? Oh my God. I sound so like out of the loop.
I guess she's with Travis Scott.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm very confused.
I'm also confused.
Okay. I swear Tyga is somehow related to the Kardashians.
Well, he was dating, I guess he dated, she did date Tyga. You're right.
Oh!
So she dated Tyga between 2014 and 2017.
Who's her baby daddy?
I don't know. I don't know if it's Tyga or if it's Travis Scott. Personal life.
Is Travis Scott also a black man? Hold on, let me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who's the baby daddy?
I think it's Travis Scott. But anyway.
Okay.
Regardless, guys, like people are like saying, you know, again, that you shouldn't have done that. And then some people like I guess Tyga also dated Black China.
That was the drama.
Yeah. And Black China also dated Rob Kardashian.
Right.
Like there's a lot of like.
I don't know.
Stuff going on. Yeah. And Black China had called Tyga out on Twitter before all this happened, being like, she was like, I guess they got in a fight or she was mad at him and she was like, you really gonna hit up some tranny over me? Something like
wait,
this.
Wait, who? Wait, Black China. Oh.
Let me see.
She said tranny? Shut the fuck up. On Twitter?
Yeah, here we go. So this comes 1 month after Black China, Tyga's baby mama, said the following about the rapper. Tiger really was fucking a tranny and the world just blew past that.
Oh my God.
Crying,
what a vile
laughing
woman.
emotion. I know.
Who says that?
I know. It's so bad. Like, it's just.
Come on. That is so. I can't believe.
I know.
Who is Black China?
Well, this is it, right? Who is she? But again, I think you know, we've talked about like sexuality and all this kind of stuff, and like honestly though, like when
who cares?
Exactly. Well, first of all, who cares? And secondly, like someone like, for example, Nikita Dragun. I mean, it looks like a fucking woman.
Yeah, she looks like a woman.
So
and like also it doesn't like. Black China just sounds bitter. You know what I'm saying?
No, she was definitely
bitter.
bitter.
Not a good look.
No.
You know? It clearly sounds like
cute.
you're upset. You're very jealous. Like it's just not cute. Even if you're thinking this, like the fact that you're putting it out there, it's like it's just not cute.
No, it's not fun.
Like not that I'm a big fan of Nikita Dragun, but like
Nikita Dragun.
Like I don't really care what she does, but like to just be like, oh, like making fun of a guy because like he, I don't know, like wants to, you know. God, I can't believe she said tranny.
I know. Like it's not.
It's like it's not 94. You know, it's fucking
God.
2021.
Who cares who people are fucking these
Seriously,
days, you know?
I don't know why people.
I'm just jealous they're getting some.
Oh,
just
man.
kidding, guys.
Oh,
TMI.
Do we need to leave it there?
We do, but
on a high note.
You know, one thing we did forget
What?
to tell everyone.
What
did we do this weekend, Rose?
we went to Montreal.
No.
Oh, was that last weekend?
What did we do this weekend?
Oh,
Rose?
we did the half marathon.
Damn,
Guys,
how tired
I'm sorry.
are you?
Last week was so insane. I
Yeah.
just like literally just at this point, what is time? What is life? I
Yeah,
don't
you
even
went through.
know.
You had a pretty crazy week.
It was a crazy week.
Like we went to Montreal. You bought a place.
Oh wait, okay. Let me just like lay out the timeline of last week for me.
Yeah.
And just like putting it out there, this is not a normal week in my life.
Yeah,
okay?
this is like too much, guys.
It was too much. I mean, it was kind of exciting, but also too much.
Yeah.
So we were in Montreal on Monday. We came back, recorded the podcast that evening. As soon as we got back, basically.
Yep.
The next day, I went to a lawyer's office to sign papers for my new condo.
Yep.
So I purchased a fucking condo, guys. I signed my life away on a mortgage. I now have a mortgage.
Slave to the bank. Yeah.
A slave to the bank, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday, I got possession. Okay, so I got the condo. So I bought a fucking condo.
You got the keys. Yeah.
Got the keys. And then on Friday, I sang at my friend's wedding.
Yeah.
And I emceed at the same wedding in the evening.
Yeah.
The next day, we ran a half marathon.
Yep.
What the motherfucker?
Yeah. And yeah, it was insane. I mean, I'm just like really proud of us. Like
We did it.
We did
Half
it.
God damn.
And I think we did really well.
We did well for our first half
you
marathon.
killed it.
Oh, shit.
I was trying to keep pace with Rose, and I was really good for a while.
You did very well.
And then after about, I think 17 and a half kilometers, I kind of trailed off, and then you just kept going.
No. Like, I think, for me too, around 18.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. 'Cause if you guys don't know, half marathon is 21.1 kilometers.
Yeah.
And so at the point where I was like about 3 kilometers away, I was like, oh my God. I was checking my watch every like 2 seconds. I was like, I have to be almost done. Like, this is like not fun.
My legs after about 18 kilometers, like I actually did stop for a minute just to get some water because at the water station and just like walk a tiny bit. Mistake.
Yeah, you shouldn't stop.
No.
Hey, I barely stopped.
I had to stop like maybe 2 or 3 times.
I stopped twice for the bathroom.
Yeah.
But
and honestly, getting started again after that, like my legs felt like concrete blocks.
Oh God, especially at the very end.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. And then there was a part where you get to the 20K mark, which actually the 20K mark is like you go under this underpass and you have to go up a fucking hill to get to the 20K. And I was like,
to be fair, it's
my
not
God.
even that big of a hill, but
No.
at that point, you're just like, fuck my life.
Well, and then you get into like the Stampede grounds where it's supposed to end, and it's like you think you're almost there, and then the path like winds so much. And you can never see the end until you go around this corner and then it's there.
Oh my God, seriously.
Oh.
Oh God. But we did well.
We did.
We were 5 minutes apart.
Yeah.
So I got within my time, which was 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Yeah.
And my goal was 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and then what was your time, Daniel?
So I guess we were 6 minutes apart because I was
was
220.
220.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn, but we did way over.
I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with, you know what? We didn't train that much in the last
No,
little bit.
the last 3 weeks,
Yeah.
I feel like
Oh my God,
my
no,
training,
barely.
if I had continued the training that I was doing.
Yeah, and you didn't train as much as, like, because I went up to 18K and you went up to what, 14K?
14, yeah.
So, I mean, judging by that, you did very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to do it again.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do it again next year.
And then what will be our time goal this time?
So I think I'm going to try, because I'm actually going to properly train this time. Like, I mean, I did train, but I want to properly train. Because I think if we get up to about 19, 20 kilometers training.
Yeah.
We should be able to do it in a
Oh God,
in a
you want to
decent time.
train for 19 kilometers?
Yeah.
God damn.
Because then I think the last like 2 or whatever you can really push through, and I want to try to get like maybe like around 2 hours.
God damn.
So I want to shave 20 minutes off my time.
You want to shave 20 minutes? I was thinking, I'm going to try to do like 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you are taller than me, Daniel, as I always say.
But I also carry a lot more weight. So, and I was wearing this belt with 2 water bottles in it.
Oh my God, next time do not.
I will not do that. I had these 2 water bottles, but they had like water stations everywhere. So I was like, actually, this was useless and it added extra weight on me. So I was like, never again. Fuck that.
But we did it.
Yeah, we did it, guys.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to make it because my legs started hurting at 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, my legs are already like my calves are already tight. Like there is something going on.
But we were doing so good. And I was so like happy because like we were keeping pace most of the time.
We were, yeah.
Right up until about 17. To pee. Yeah. But then Rose went to pee. And
then I caught up.
Yeah. And then I was running. And then Rose caught up. I was like, oh my God. How the hell did you do that?
Because I think it's because I went to the bathroom, I tried to be a little bit faster afterwards because I didn't want to lose my time.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And sometimes you have to wait in line for bathrooms.
Yeah. So I think I definitely wasted. Here's the thing. I definitely wasted at least 5 minutes waiting for the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So technically, it's 2 hours and 9 minutes.
But then also you could argue that those rests. Because
I rested. Exactly.
So it's like a double-edged
Yeah. So you don't actually know what the truth is.
Exactly. Because after I did my little walk the first time, I was able to run like another 2.5K after that.
Yeah.
It's just like sometimes you just need a little
rest. Yeah. So I do think the resting does kind of make a difference in the beginning. Anyways.
Yeah. But anyway.
So we did it. Woohoo.
Yeah. Congrats to us.
Congrats to us. Look at us just winning at life.
Well, yeah. I know. I think that's a positive thing. And honestly, during this whole craziness of the pandemic and like gyms being closed, open, open.
God.
Like I actually went to the gym today for the first time in so long. And it felt really good. And like I'm getting back into like weightlifting and stuff like that. But just having this goal of the half marathon has kept me honest.
So good. Right.
And I've been doing way more and I'm not a runner at all. And it's interesting too, because like I actually like I haven't lost that much weight, but it's definitely reshaped my body a little bit. Like I've noticed my legs are more toned. And
damn. Yes. Your calves look good.
Yeah. My calves be toned as hell.
I was looking at Daniel from behind. I was like, damn, Daniel.
You were looking at my behind.
I was looking at your behind.
God damn, Roses. And anyway,
that brings us to the end of the episode. I do apologize for our giant rant.
Extensive rant.
Although it was much needed. Yeah. We promise not to rant next week. I mean, we'll rant about something, but not this.
We will. It will be a COVID-free episode.
Oh God. I mean, I just want to live in a COVID-free world. Is that too much to ask for?
It is. But yeah, it will be. We'll focus on some other stories, guys. We'll try to like avoid that topic and like because the vaccine thing, it's just become such a divisive like topic. And I think like let's just try to like. For the most part, we'll try to stay away from it unless there's some crazy stories that happen. And then we'll go from there because it also makes us angry. We don't want to be constantly talking about it because it fuels our rage.
Yeah, it really does.
But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. As always, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. Leave us some comments in the comments section below. Let us know what you think about the episode. Maybe some comments
that we can react to in the Patreon.
Oh yeah, if you completely disagree and you hate everything that we said, let us know. What else? Follow us on Instagram at the SaVeg Podcast. And then also whatever podcast platform you are listening to us on, just remember to hit that follow button. And then you can get updated as soon as the episodes go live. And as we mentioned earlier in the episode earlier on, check out our Patreon, guys. Patreon.com/the SaVeg Podcast. You get exclusive content every single month. You get episodes a week earlier than everyone else. And also all of the episodes are ad free.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.